Hello and welcome to Charge Electric. Now back in 2019 I got a sneak preview of a Honda E in left-hand drive form. Unfortunately I wasn't allowed to drive that one, I could only sit in it and have a little play. But ever since then I've been itching to get my hands on one. So when Speedwell Honda in Newton Abbot, Devon contacted me and said, would I like one for a couple of days? I said, yes please. Now, as I mentioned, this Honda E has been provided to me by Speedwell Honda in Newton Abbot in Devon. Now, my channel, Charge Electric, and Speedwell Honda have actually teamed up to create a discount code. You can use the code not only on a Honda E, but any brand new Honda. The discount code is Charge Electric Channel at Speedwell, but I'll put all the details in the description below, so please go and check it out. But also, Speedwell Honda are doing a Buy with Confidence scheme, which runs up until the 31st of March 2021. So the scheme, if you order any brand new Honda before the 31st of March, Speedwell will match your deposit up to £1,000. But I'll put all of the details of that in the description below, so again, check it out. And there's also a little video in there from Speedwell which explains how that offer works. Right, so let's get started. Now, when Honda first unveiled their urban EV concept back in 2017, I think the whole world instantly fell in love with the design. It was very, very futuristic urban EV runabout. It looked absolutely stunning. And I'm really, really pleased to say that Honda seems to have stuck very, very closely to that concept car's design. I mean, look at this front end, or shall I say face. I mean, look how cute it is. It reminds me of Honda's Asimo robot. And I really like these headlights as well. Everything's integrated into one unit. So you've got the headlight and the indicators all in one unit. Looks absolutely stunning. Now, you've probably noticed this big black patch on the bonnet here. It even stands out on this modern steel paintwork, which is actually my favourite colour that this car comes with. But unlike other manufacturers that seem to have stuck the charge ports on the side of the car and hidden them out the way, Honda have actually made a feature of their charging ports. I even like the way it opens. And there we go. So in here we have DC, CCS, rapid charging as standard. Now, this car on a CCS rapid charger will go from 10% in 80% in pretty much half an hour. And if you plug it in at home on their 7 kilowatt home box, it will charge in about 4.5 to 5 hours. Now, the Honda E comes with a 35.5 kilowatt battery, of which 28.5 kilowatts is the usable capacity, which gives it a WLTP combined range of up to 137 miles. And I can already hear you screaming at your screens, that's a small battery, that's a really, really small range. But hang on a minute, I don't think overall range is that important with this car, and I'll explain why later on. So when looking at the side of the car for the first time, the first thing that really struck me was the really, really short front and rear overhangs. It's got that wheel at each corner concept, which was made famous, of course, by the original Mini. And this car, being the top spec advanced model, has the 17-inch wheels as standard. On the standard car, the standard Honda E, it will come with 16-inch wheels as standard. Now, another feature I really, really like on the side of this car is these flush door handles, which pop out when you unlock the car. Now, when you look at the car from the side on initially, it looks like it's a 3-door car. That's because it has this hidden door handle at the back for the rear door. That's quite an important feature because this car's main rivals, the Mini Electric and the Fiat 500 Electric, are 3-door only, but this car is a proper 5-door. But when I was looking at the side of the car, I couldn't help thinking there was something missing. And then it hit me. It's got no wing mirrors. This car has wing cameras instead. Now, the thinking behind that is that it makes the car so much more aerodynamically efficient, and also it cuts down on wind noise. And again, at the back of the car, Honda have mimicked the cute face design that the front end has. And again, these really nice light units on the back as well. So yeah, overall, it is a really good looking, cute little car. Okay, so practicality. Now the Honda E has a 171 litre boot. There is a little bit of underfloor storage for a few little bits and pieces under the floor. But the boot is a little bit smaller than the likes of the Fiat 500 electric and the Mini electric. You can fit a couple of shopping bags in there, but I don't think you'll be putting many big suitcases in. But the rear seat bench does fold completely flat. So you've got no load lip loading things in here and no lip to push anything over here as well. So that does fold nice and flat. It folds as one piece, it's not a 60-40 or anything like that. So if you did need to fold the seats down, you can only fit yourself and one passenger in the car. But let's do the lie down test. Can we chill out and relax while we wait for this car to charge? I'm trying to get it dirty. Ooh, almost. Feet are sticking out a little bit, but not bad. Okay, so let's check out the back of this car then. Now once again, I've got this seat set to my driving position. I'm 5'9", 10-ish, and I quite like a reclined laid back position, which you can probably see by the seat here. And actually for a small city car or super mini, I've actually got half decent knee room. Again, I can slide my feet under the driver's seat in front, so it's not too bad at all. It has got quite a high floor, so you do tend to sit with your knees pointing upwards a little bit, but for someone my height, it's not too bad at all. Nice bit of space in the middle, a little tiny lump there, but nothing worth mentioning really. And the seats are really, really comfy. Oh yeah, I like those. But yeah, seems quite spacious in the back. With this car, and it's also the same with the Mini electric and the Fiat 500, it is only a 4-seater, so there is no middle seat or middle seat belt on this car, but it's exactly the same for this car's rivals as well. There's also 2 USB ports down here, so handy for charging devices. Ooh, little button. Ah, cool. Ooh, I like. Okay, so here you join me in one of the highlights of the Honda E, and this car does have many highlights, and this is one of the big ones. Look at this interior. I mean, what an interior. I mean, when I first saw this a couple of years ago, it also almost reminded me of my parents' old 1970s hi-fi stereo system, all this wood effect here. But it seems to have been brought up to the 21st century with all these screens. I mean, look at this wallpaper here. That's absolutely beautiful. And I was counting up the screens on this car that are just in front of me, and there are 6. There are 6 screens up here. You've got the wing mirror or the wing camera screen here, the screen in front of me, one screen there, passenger screen, another screen for the wing camera here. But because this car is the top spec advanced model, the rear view mirror is also a screen. How cool is that? Now I'm sure you are wondering, what is the point in a screen for the rear view mirror? What is wrong with a traditional rear view mirror? Well, actually it works really well. I can use it as a conventional mirror, so as you normally would, but at the flick of this switch here, it turns into a screen. Now the reason why you would do that, if you had that rear bench folded and you loaded the car up and there's loads of boxes, and when you load a car up you can't see anything out of the rear screen, or the rear view mirror. So at the flick of a button, there you go, you can see through the boxes that are piled up and you can see exactly what's behind you. That's good thinking, that. Now coming up to these screens that are in front of me here, it is so easy to use. Everything is like using apps on a smartphone. It is very, very intuitive and very easy. There's the widget for your phone, navigation, and you can personalize these little widgets as well, so you can literally have it how you want to use the car. It is very, very easy to use. And the passenger can control their screen as well. You can also flip the screens around. Unfortunately, I've got the car powered on, so it won't do it at the moment. So if you want something over here, passenger wants to swap, you can swap the screens around, which is really, really easy to do. But look at this. This is hours of fun, this one. It has an onboard aquarium. And when you touch the screen, you can feed the fish. Little bits of food drop down. Now, I'm 40 years old and I shouldn't enjoy something like that. I just think, oh, it's just a gimmick. What's the point in that? But look, I'm feeding the fish. Awesome. Now, this is a small city car, but the sense of space up here is really impressive. I mean, there's nothing here. There's nothing there at all. So you get this lovely impression of space. Handy little pocket there. You pull this little tab, little cup holder pops out. It's very, very neat and well thought out. And again, physical climate control buttons. Yes. So look at that. Physical climate control. Easy peasy. No faffing around with touchscreens here. Brilliant. Drive buttons as well. We've got drive, park, neutral, reverse. There's a button for one pedal driving, which I'll talk about later on. Little toggle here for your drive modes. This car's got sport and normal. Again, I'll explain those later on. But yeah, two decent sized cup holders here. Storage bins, some in the doors. So yeah, looks really practical. Oh, just before we go out on the road, talking practicality, I nearly forgot to mention, because I can't see it from the driving position, down here we have a normal 12-volt outlet, two more USB ports, but you also have a 3-pin socket, so normal household socket, which is rated at 1500 watts. And below it there's an HDMI cable. Now you might be thinking, why? Why would you want that in this car? But bear with me, Honda have thought of everything. Now when you pulled up to a public charge and you sat in the car charging, you can plug a games console in here and play it on the screen. Wicked. So what is this little Honda E like to drive? Well, I've been pottering around this morning around about Torbay, and some of the roads in Torbay are quite narrow, a bit twisty, and that is where this car absolutely excels. You can tell this was designed as a small urban runabout. The turning circle on this car is mad. It turns so tightly. Manoeuvring around town is an absolute breeze, and the reason why it has such a good turning circle is that this car is rear wheel drive, so all the front wheels have to do is steer. That's it. They don't have to worry about putting power down on the road, and that's why it has such a tight turning circle. Now, I'd just like to talk a little bit about these wing cameras. They're a little bit strange when you first get in the car and start driving it. Your eye still looks out the window towards the wing mirror, but you look a little bit more inside the car to see the camera. And once you get used to it, it's actually quite natural. They're a very, very clear screen. The only criticism I have is that when I drive with my hands at the normal 10 to 2 position, half of my right hand blocks out quite a bit of the screen over here. I'll try and show you on screen what I'm seeing. But that's the only slight criticism. Apart from that, the cameras are really clear. I'm told that the lenses have rain repelling coating on them, so when you're driving in heavy rain, the lens stays really clear. And I'm also told that they work really well at night. So I haven't driven the car at night yet, but I might test it out later on just to see how good those cameras are. I have tried parallel parking with them, and again, first couple of times it's a little bit unsure of depth perception, but after a little while you soon get used to it, and they seem to be set up quite nicely. So yeah, these wing cameras do seem to be pretty good. And another really good thing, some of the narrow roads I've been driving around, you have to sort of breathe in a little bit when you squeeze past another car. There's no wing mirror sticking out of the side of this one, so I'm not going to knock one off. Bonus. So let's talk a few stats. Now this car is rear wheel drive, so something I really like about it. It has 50-50 weight distribution, and this being the top spec car has 154 PS. The standard car has 136. So this car will do 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds, and it's 9 seconds for the standard car. Now the suspension, for a small city car, this has all-round independent suspension, and it rides really, really well. It is a little bit firm in its setup, which really makes sense when you get it onto a twisty road, but it's not uncomfortable. It's quite well damped actually, so around town on the bumpier roads, it only really gets fidgety on some of the rougher roads. But yeah, it's really, really comfortable, and the cushioning in the seats is really nice as well, so that kind of makes up for some of the firmness in the suspension. But yeah, as a car to waft around a city or a town in, yeah, it's really, really nice. The dials that are in front of me are very nicely laid out, so I've got the energy flow meter on, so I know exactly what the car's doing when it's regenning. I can see how many miles per kilowatt I'm doing. Yeah, range in the battery, very, very clear displays. Now, having driven the car around for a couple of hours now, I am getting the sense that it is possibly slightly over-engineered for a small city car, and kind of get the feeling that the Honda engineers that designed this car had really, really good fun doing it. I mean, the design is absolutely fantastic. The technology that's on board is absolutely great. Some really, really good fun features. But driving it is really good fun as well. I mean, this twisty B road that I'm on at the moment, it just feels really nice. The electric motor is really punchy, a lot of torque low down, and yeah, it's just brilliant fun. I'm really, really falling for this car. It just oozes enjoyment. Okay, so now we're on a twisty B road, 60 mile an hour limit, so let's see how this car goes in sport mode. So here we go. Now, this car has near perfect 50-50 weight distribution, rear wheel drive, 154 PS. God, it's actually quite punchy. Oh. I'll tip it in. God, that handles really well. Only a little bit of lean, but it has got a nice low centre of gravity in this car. God, that is actually really punchy. That's really good fun. Okay, roundabout test. How level is it going to stay? Whipping around this roundabout. Here we go. Put it in. Hey, not bad, not bad. Accelerate off the roundabout. Woohoo! Oh, that's really good fun. Oh, I seriously haven't had this much fun in a little hatchback since an i30N. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. You've probably noticed by now I'm smiling a lot more often in this car. Oh, it's great. Okay, that's enough fun for a little while. Let's get a bit more sensible. Right, so some of the drive modes on the car, actually there are two drive modes, sport and normal. Strangely for an EV, it doesn't have an eco mode, so I take it its normal mode is its eco mode. And when you hit sport, it does sharpen the response up a little bit. It feels a little bit more punchy, but it doesn't make too much difference to the dynamics of the car. It just gives you a little bit more punch from the electric motor. And normal feels absolutely great. Now, one thing I do like about this car is the regen facility. Now, as I'm driving around at the moment, the car is just in completely normal mode. I lift off the throttle and it just has a natural engine braking effect. It loses speed ever so slightly and it's regenerating a little bit of energy. But I have paddles behind the steering wheel on this one. So if I pull this paddle, it increases the regeneration effect. And there we go, a bit more. I've now hit a 30 mile an hour road and it's holding me at 30. Oh, slowed me down a bit too much, so I hit the other paddle. And that's maintaining the speed down this hill. Really like regen paddles behind steering wheels. Really good feature. But this car also has a one pedal driving button down here. So if I hit that button, wow, you can really feel it pile on the regen. That's really aggressive actually. Well, there's a really steep hill coming up, and at the bottom of the hill is a set of traffic lights. So I'm going to test out the regen pulling up to those lights. Okay, so we're just going down that really steep hill now. Traffic lights at the end are on red. If I just jump off the power now, God, that's really slowed me down well. Will it stop me in time for the lights? No, a little dab of the brakes just to bring me to a stop. Yeah, that works really well. Nice bit of power going back into the battery. Yeah, really good. So what do I think about the Honda E? Well, as a small city town runabout, it's absolutely fantastic. I love the looks of it. It is such a cutesy little design. I really like it, especially in this modern steel paint colour as well. I really like this colour. But yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased Honda, for their first EV, didn't produce another SUV. I love the fact they've gone for a small, quirky city car, and it works so well. It's so light and nimble around town. Turning circles, fantastic. The connectivity is brilliant. It's bang up to date. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are standard as well. These screens are just fantastic. It looks like it will be a really easy car to live with. Out on the open road, the way it drives on a twisty A and B road, it does better than it should, I think. I don't think a city car needs to ride and handle that well, but the fact that it does is great. It is a real testament to Honda's design and engineering team that they've actually done the work that they have on this car. Now I have to say, I have absolutely fallen for this car. I absolutely adore it. It's so good. Brilliant. Love it. This is a car you would definitely buy with your heart rather than your head. And we need more cars like that. There are too many dull cars on the road that are just A to B cars. Boring. They do their job very well, they're just boring. But this is such good fun. Really good fun. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Honda E is available in two specifications. You have the standard Honda E and this model, which is the Advance. Now, some of the main features that this car has over the standard car is the uprated stereo system that this one has. It has 17-inch wheels as opposed to 16-inch. You've got the extra screen in the rear view mirror. But you also have that slightly more powerful electric motor at 154 PS as opposed to the 136. 0 to 60 time is slightly less on this model, being a little bit more powerful. It's 8.3 seconds, 9 seconds on the standard car. So yeah, there's not too much difference between them really. They all come very well equipped as standard, so not sure which one I'd recommend. Probably personal preference really. Okay, so it's time to address that elephant in the room. The range. Now Honda say you will get up to 137 miles out of a full charge on this car, and if you did get 137 miles out of this car, by current standards it is still quite a short range. Realistically, you're probably going to get between 100 and 120 ish, and some people have asked, why is it got such a small battery, why is it such a small range? But don't forget, this car has been designed to be an urban city runabout. I'm going to use my own personal experience on this one, why I don't think the range will be too much of a problem for most people. Now, a few years ago, probably going about 10 years or more, before I started having about 1 million children, my wife had a small X-Reg Vauxhall Corsa, and she used that car for commuting to work, going out with her mum and her sister, going around a few places, doing shopping, or the general everyday bits and pieces. I had the bigger car. I had Honda Accords and Skoda Octavia Estates because my job at the time involved carrying around quite a bit of equipment, so I needed a bigger car. Now my wife had her Corsa for 8 years, and in that 8 years I don't think that car ever went on a journey more than 50 miles in the 8 years we had it, because every time we went anywhere together, whether it was out for the day, a weekend or a holiday somewhere, we would always take the bigger car. Now, I don't think people will buy a car this size, like a city size car, with long range driving in mind. I think most households that will buy a car like this sort of size, so a Honda E, Mini possibly, Fiat 500, I think most households will also have a bigger car in that household, and that's the car they will use for long distances and going away. So yeah, I don't think the range of this car is going to be that much of an issue. And let's face it, if you were buying a car that was going to be your only car, and you were someone that was going to be doing long distances, who spends lots and lots of time wafting up and down the motorways, the chances are you're going to be looking at a bigger car anyway. So yeah, that's why I don't think the range of this car is an issue. Okay, interesting fact for you. The Honda E is the first Japanese car ever to win the German Car of the Year award. So ja, das japanische Auto ist gut. Okay, 0 to 60 test, sport mode, here we go. $60. Again, I'll put the time up on the screen for you just to see how quick it did it. But yeah, 0 to 30 was dispatched very quickly. Not bad at all. Yeah, that definitely felt like that was quicker than a 9-second 0 to 60. The official is 8.3 on this one. Wonder if it could creep into the 7s actually. That did feel quite good. You can definitely feel that it's the rear wheels pushing you as well. There's no scrabbling for grip like you would probably get in a front wheel drive car. It just went. Yeah, that was really good. Sorry, I've been driving around in the car all day, and I know I've been very flattering about the car so far, and I was just trying to think about something I could criticise it for, something I don't like about it. I can't really think of anything, apart from my hand slightly blocking the wing camera screen over here, and a slightly small boot. I can't think of anything that I don't like about this car. I love it. No, seriously, hats off to Honda for this little Honda E. It is absolutely brilliant. It is so much fun. It is pretty much the perfect urban EV runabout. Absolutely fantastic. And the way it's set up and engineered and everything, and possibly over-engineered for a city car, could we be seeing a Type R EV at some point, Honda? That was a hint, Honda. Type R EV, yeah. But no, once again, huge thank you to Speedwell Honda in Newton Abbot for loaning me this car. I've been dying to get my hands on one of these for quite a while now, and I'm really, really glad I've had the opportunity. It's a fantastic car to drive. But tomorrow, will I still love it like I do now? Because tomorrow is a range test. Now, I know this car isn't designed to do long distances, but I thought I would do a range test anyway, just to see how we get on. But I'll explain more about that on the next video. But as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share it around. And I'll see you on the next one. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Here, fishy. Come on, get the food. Get the food. Come on. Good boy.